Hey, welcome to today's video. I hope you're well. If you're new to cryptocurrency and you want to learn more, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button and press all notifications. Do that now, it is much appreciated. Now, I'm going to talk about Ravencoin. Why? I really do like this project in terms of what it is, what it offers, and most importantly how it's kind of run. It's a very, very decentralized project and it does elements that Bitcoin does, but better, because it's a fork of Bitcoin, but also it has characteristics of an Ethereum token as well. So it's pretty interesting. So let's get into it, let's get started and let's go. Right then, so what is Ravencoin? Now, I want to get into this quite quickly because a lot of people do complain on my videos that I rabble on too much. Sorry, but if you want to learn, you got to listen, I'm afraid. So, Ravencoin is a digital peer-to-peer network that aims to implement a use case specific blockchain designed to efficiently handle one specific function: the transfer of assets from one party to another. Relatively straightforward, understandably. It's a blockchain, it's going to handle transfers of assets to people, peer-to-peer. Kind of simple, kind of obvious, but it is built on the fork of Bitcoin. The Bitcoin code, which is open source, anyone can get that. Ravencoin was introduced and first launched on January the 3rd, 2018. Very, very specific date. If you go back in time, the 3rd of January is also a very iconic date in Bitcoin. It is truly open source with no ICO, no masternodes. It focuses on building a useful technology with a strong and growing community. The community in this is relatively very strong. One of the strongest I've ever seen. So it's good. I like it. So in terms of that, what makes it different to Bitcoin? So this is where it gets a little bit more complicated. If you don't understand what Bitcoin is, have a little look, because Bitcoin's obvious in my personal opinion. You can reel it off, it's very, very simple. But the fact that this is an adapted version of what the Bitcoin code is to make it better makes it more interesting, and I'm going to explain now. So why is it different? What is the differences? Okay, it uses an X16R algorithm in terms of mining. Intends to solve the centralization of mining seen on the Bitcoin blockchain caused by the introduction of expensive and highly efficient ASIC hardware. It's pretty expensive, it's pretty much a dying breed at the minute, mining, if you're new. If you're new to the space and you want to get involved in mining, if you want to go straight to Bitcoin, the chances are you're probably going to lose out longer term, depending on what you bank on the price of Bitcoin. Your costs are going to outweigh the long-term longevity of it, because by the time you get up and running, you would have cost thousands of pounds and probably the price already boomed anyways. So obviously be mindful of that. But by randomizing the order of 16 different, I like this one, hashing algorithms, Raven makes the ASICs difficult to develop. This allows room for anyone to be able to mine the Raven network without the disadvantage of competing with the ASIC hardware. It's quite expensive. It also changes in speed pretty blooming quickly. The Raven team has committed to change the hashing algorithms if a Raven ASIC miner is ever developed. So it'll vary, it'll change all the time to allow it to be, competitive in terms of pricing, in terms of all the kind of the rewards that you get as a miner. When you mine in Bitcoin or even Ethereum, as it develops and as the price changes, the difficulty goes up, so it makes it more power extortionate in terms of price. So, it kind of defeats the object. So it solves that and it makes it a lot more decentralized. In terms of the differences, okay, this is where we get the difference between Bitcoin and Raven. The block rewards of Raven is 5,000 instead of 50 Bitcoin. As it stands currently, Bitcoin's obviously a lot less than that, but if we're talking from the start, from the Genesis block, Bitcoin was 50. The block time is 1 minute instead of 10 minutes, making it a lot faster. The total supply, 21 billion compared to the 21 million of Bitcoin. Obviously, I've already mentioned the mining algorithms, X16R instead of the SHA-26. It allows for more decentralized mining, which is much, much better. Additional asset in insurance and transfer, different. And obviously the obvious one, which is what I like, is the the addition of assets, sub-assets, rewards, messaging and voting. I like it. I like it a lot. It's very, very community driven. It makes it better. Unique characterizations. Okay, this is like the unique stuff to Ravencoin, which makes it totally different to Bitcoin. Is ISIC resistance. So it will stop and discourage the development of the ISIC hardware. It is a fair launch, equal opportunity to mine it and to obviously purchase it from day one. No pre-mine, no ICOs, no coins held for a developer or founder rewards. It is very awesome in decentralization. Very, very community driven and true open source networking code. I like that a lot. It's tickling me. It's making me, it's giving me that warm fuzzy feeling of decentralization. Now, if you're reading and looking into projects and you're seeing a lot of big companies involved running it, it's kind of very, very centralized. This is a total opposite. Decentralization is the key to success in this industry. Look at Bitcoin. As much as Bitcoin has its centralized entities in terms of what is mining it, it's still very much decentralized in the way it governs itself. But other projects you can't say the same, nowhere near the same. Halving is going to be very, very similar to Bitcoin in terms of every so often it's going to do it. So this is here. In approximately 3 years, January 2020, there's going to be a block halving. Okay, so I know that figure is different. It's not going to be 3 years from now, but ultimately you're going to see the drop. It's going to halve 5,000 to 2,500 Raven. This will continue in every 2.1 million blocks until there's no more that needs to be halved, which is pretty good. The supply and fees I'm going to come on to in a second because it's going to have a fee burn element to it. So there's going to be total elements of utility in here, which makes it totally different to how Bitcoin runs, but giving it a utility within it makes it even better for long-term scarcity. Obviously halving is going to help for the miners, but that supply will gradually dwindle down. You can also, wait for it, make your own security token within minutes and trade it worldwide. This is incredible. This is a bit that really game changer, really. The ease of use, adopting a platform that's truly open source, allowing you to have project shares, virtual goods, physical and digital assets and credit. That is wow, what the hell. I myself, I run a community, a company. I could use their token to build my own token to use it as a physical or digital asset for course creations, for buying and selling goods, shares in the company. I could do that. I probably will never do that, but the option's there, and it's an obvious option because of its love for Bitcoin. That's very, very close to it, but also has a utility in the way that Ethereum kind of does its kind of thing as well. I'm going to come on to that more in a minute. The team. Now, the team, there's not much information about the team because it is quite decentralized. There are some obvious figures. Now, if you go on the white paper, you can see who it's been listed and actually wrote by. You got Bruce Fenton, Tron Black and Joel Wright. These are very, very influential figures within the space technology, blockchain and other projects. They are pretty key in the way that the blockchain works, and they've been working on a lot of very good projects for a long time. So do further information, do further research on the team, but ultimately the team doesn't matter in a community driven kind of way of a project. I like community driven projects. I like the rewards are no longer there for the taking for team members. I like the idea of that. I think it's true decentralization. So I want to show you a few other things now. Let's jump on the screen and I want to show you something. I really like this. This is a Ravencoin statistics. This gives you everything in the whole metrics of what is happening. The current circulating supply, the current hash rate of the network, and obviously what coin rank it is, but the difficulty, all of this stuff. It looks so much slicker, so much cleaner, and obviously where you can obviously buy it. Ultimately though, this obviously varies in terms of what the mining algorithms do and the difficulty and all that good stuff, but this is really, really good for data. Now you've got the burning element, so you've got all these kind of assurance assets and all kinds of stuff like that. These are all getting burned. stuff like that gets burned. So in terms of how it's used, the more it's used, the more transferring of assets to other companies, whatever, or other assets, people, whatever you want to talk about it, there's going to be fees within that, and they're going to be burnt. So over time, that supply will trickle down a little bit. So it's pretty good. It will obviously cost it down a bit, and it will make it a lot more balanced. But in terms of where you can buy it, I would only recommend 1 or 2 exchanges for this, because it is on some good exchanges, but some also bad exchanges at the minute when you look at it, certainly when you look at the website. Now, if I just quickly go into Ravencoin here, in terms of what I recommend is, obviously if you're in the US you're going to have some issues, but Binance is probably the safest bet for buying it, because it's got the most volume, liquidity, up bit. You got DigiFinex and Bittrex in terms of the top ones, but for me, probably Binance, if I'm going to be totally honest with you. Yes, it has its issues in the US, but ultimately it does have its use cases, it has its use power, and it also has liquidity. There is also Crypto Bridge, which I've used but never used it for a long time, and you've also got the likes of, you know, Bittrex. But there you go. So it's quite a short video, quite short, concise. I want to talk just openly about the Ravencoin project. That is it in its warts and all. That is how obvious it is. It's very simple to explain, but it has its underlying kind of elements where it's very close to Bitcoin. It has a, you know, a degree of element of Ethereum wingled in there, but you can use it, you can physically use it, you can physically mine it, and you can also build your own security token on there, which kind of gives it the edge. So there you go. If you like my stuff, thumbsy uppy please. Obviously comment, subscribe, and check out the other videos that YouTube are probably highlighting to you and telling you what to go on to. And if you want to learn more about cryptocurrency, 99 pence to start.